religion of Buddhism has reached Western culture, and many people have used its teachings to improve their lives as well as lives of others. The individualistic ideals of American society have especially been positively impacted by the implementation of Buddhist principles. One outstanding figure in American society who has incorporated the philosophies and doctrines of Buddhism into his professional and personal life is NBA coach Phil Jackson. In turn, through his use of Buddhist thought, he has accomplished the highest achievements in his field. After being introduced to the religion in his college years, Jackson used its teachings as a player and then later as a coach. However, it was in his childhood where the importance of having a strong spirituality was encouraged, if not demanded. Philip Douglas Jackson was born September 17, 1945 in Deer Lodge, Montana, but spent most of his life growing up in the rural town of Williston, North Dakota. With two parents as Pentecostal Christian ministers, Jackson grew up in an extremely religious household. Jackson believed in the lessons of compassion Christianity taught, but as he grew older, something was missing. He could not find the physical connection that his sect of Christianity emphasized. And as Jackson attended the University of North Dakota on a basketball scholarship, he was first introduced to Zen Buddhism. Zen is a Mahayana tradition, which emphasizes the role of sitting meditation in pursuing enlightenment for the benefit of others, thus emphasizing compassion. According to Jackson, the lessons of compassion are where Christianity and Zen intersect. By practicing Zen, Jackson learned to clear his mind of all that was interfering with it and open his heart with compassion. As Phil Jackson left the college life and entered the egotistic world of professional basketball, he carried these lessons with him as a player, coach, and as a person. In Jackson's career as a player, he won an NBA championship with the New York Knicks in 1973. As a coach, he has won a total of 9 NBA championships, 6 with the Chicago Bulls during the 90s, and 3 with the LA Lakers from 2000 to 2002. According to Jackson, the celebration of the ego is the #1 national pastime in the United States, and it can be arguably found in professional sports more than any other aspect of American culture. While playing for New York, he found himself constantly immersed in self-centered thoughts. Eventually, through his continued study of Buddhism, he learned that the thoughts he had were not the problem. The problem lied in his desperate clinging to those thoughts, and his resistance to what was really causing him to not play at a higher level. With this new realization, Jackson began practicing Zazen meditation to improve his mental approach toward the game. Zazen is a specifically formatted type of sitting meditation that is used to calm the mind and the body. Breathing and sitting techniques are used with great discipline in order to reach the ultimate state of enlightenment. Through Zazen, Jackson found ways to use his angry thoughts and make them aggressive, yet controlled. He became a more aware player with a higher level of consciousness, especially during action in games. With the success he achieved as a result of Zazen, Jackson decided to bring his enhanced insight to the realm of coaching. Just as he had to combat the ego as a player, Jackson had to combat the ego as a coach. But this time, it was not just his own. The NBA had changed, and players were getting paid more and more, and as a result, the egos of these players had soared to new heights. When he originally took over the Chicago Bulls, the team lost in the playoffs in 1990. There was noticeably something wrong with the team chemistry on and off the court that Jackson described as a problem with the we and not with the me. At this point, Jackson said he would vow to create an environment based on the principles of selflessness and compassion. He taught his players to compete against each other in practice for the benefits of everyone and to approach each in an empathetic manner. Over the next year, the huge egos of the Bulls were pulled together even while Michael Jordan was becoming a sports icon and international superstar. This interconnectedness between the players led to selfless action and is what Jackson attributes much of their success to. The Bulls would go on to win NBA championships in a row from 1991 to 1993. Compassion and selflessness were not the only aspects of Zen Buddhism that Jackson applied to his teams, though. What Jackson found most appealing about Zen was its emphasis on clearing the mind. In his book, Sacred Hoops, Jackson notes what the Buddha said about the mind in the Dhammapada. Everything is based on the mind, and happiness will follow. According to Jackson, the point of Zen practice is to make you aware of the thoughts that run your life and diminish their power over you. Everything about his coaching was based on Buddhist beliefs and principles, even his diagrammed offense, known as the triangle offense. He stressed cooperation and freedom. Jackson wanted to build a team with a heightened group consciousness, but this was hard to do. So Jackson again used more Buddhist philosophy to reach his players. He approached his players by the Buddhist teachings of skillful means, or upaya, in order to get in touch with his team while acknowledging each other's wants and needs. He focused on Zen's approach to accepting things the way they are when we want them to be otherwise. During the 1991 playoffs, Jackson and a key player, Horace Grant, got in a sideline shouting match, which led to Grant hitting another player during the game. Jackson was asking something of Grant as a player that Grant could not give him at the time. After the Bulls lost that game, Jackson realized that he had alienated Grant because of a clinging to a misguided notion of how things should be. From then on, Jackson made an effort to approach Grant and others by using what Buddhists refer to as bare attention, or listening without judgment. This concept also helped his players feel more comfortable improving their imperfections, which ultimately benefits the entire team. Jackson has taken many aspects of Buddhist philosophy and used it to grow his teams. Out of all these lessons acquired from Buddhism, the idea of impermanence, or anicca, is the overall reason why Jackson puts so much stress on controlling the mind. Throughout his career, Jackson has learned to focus on accepting the success only as a moment in time. This came from his studies of Suzuki Roshi, a famous Buddhist philosopher-writer, and the idea of accepting the truth of transience. This may be why Jackson has been so consistent with achieving great things throughout his life. He tries not to accept the idea that things do not last as long as he would like, and in doing so, he feels he has eliminated a great deal of suffering. The retirement of Michael Jordan and transformation to the head coach of the LA Lakers is one example of Jackson realizing this truth once it was over. Phil Jackson has changed and is changing today, as everything else in the Buddhist mindset. But what he has done is truly one of the best achievements of anyone in sports. Not only are his achievements in basketball great, but he is one of the few icons in American society that has applied an Eastern religion to the West and made it as visible as he has. He treated basketball as life and used the teachings of Zen, along with Christianity, to reach the ultimate goal in his field. Jackson advocates the truth behind the Buddha's teachings and doctrines, and makes the religion no longer just a belief or information. Instead, he has made Buddhism in the West a more real and functional remedy for improving one's life. For this reason, he is known today as the Zen Master.